Mets fans, welcome to Meet at the Apple Live. This is the moment we have all been waiting for. We're all pumped up right now. We want to see everybody in the room join the StreamYard link because we want to hear from Mets fans. We want to see how excited you guys are. We want you to jump in on this. I know I've never felt like this in my entire life as a Mets fan. John, before we start talking to listeners, tell me how you, Jonathan Barron at JMB9191, is feeling.
So there's those triumphs that you have during a season that you remember forever, those victories. We experienced some this past year, by the way.
Yeah.
Game 3 in Milwaukee, Game 4 against the Phillies. I got my City Connect Juan Soto jersey. I know Vito's showing off the classic pinstripes. And then you have those moments in the offseason where the team that you root for acquires a player, and it feels like almost a championship level celebration. In our lifetimes, I've experienced that when the Mets acquired Johan Santana back in 2008. I felt that way when Francisco Lindor was acquired by the Mets, the first big splash made by Steve and Alex Cohen. And we all felt that way on Sunday night at 10:18 p.m. when the tweets started to fly that Juan Soto is coming home on a 15-year contract to play for the New York Mets. It's unbelievable, and obviously we haven't really had the chance to talk about this until tonight when the ink was dried. The contract is signed. It's official. Juan will be here at Citi Field tomorrow to be introduced to the New York media and Mets fans all across the world. And I think that universally, we heard a lot of this on Sunday night when a lot of the reaction started to pour in. This is a seminal moment that has changed the course of New York baseball history forever. Since 1962, when the Mets came into existence after the Giants and the Dodgers left, the Yankees in their history had a grip on New York baseball in many ways. And we've seen over time.
It's changed sometimes.
It's
in
fluctuated in the 80s.
In the 80s, it's changed. Also, like in 2015, when the Mets went on their World Series run, I had seen more Mets hats than I'd ever seen in my life. Real quick, guys, we want to get you in the conversation. We see people starting to come into the room. If you want us to call on you, just do us a favor. Turn on your camera so we can see who we're talking to. And we'll try to get you in because we do want to start talking to listeners. We want to start talking to Mets fans. We want your reaction. So turn those cameras on. We'll bring you in.
Today's about all of us and you guys as Mets fans. This is a celebration. Vito told me there'd be party hats, but I guess Party City wasn't open. But yes, 2015.
You could have went too.
I was busy. 06. There's obviously the 80s. There's been moments in time. But this was a moment where Steve Cohen went toe-to-toe with a bunch of other teams, by the way. And he got it done.
He caught the fish.
He caught the fish. He did that in getting Francisco Lindor, in signing Francisco Lindor and making him a Met for life, in getting David Stearns and being patient and landing another big fish. And a lot of credit goes out to David Stearns and Steve and Alex Cohen and everyone else who was in that traveling party when it came to sitting down and explaining to Juan Soto the vision of why this is the place to be, why this is a family. We saw this year how much fun Citi Field was. And you heard it universally. You heard it all over the place. So we heard that. We want to hear from you guys.
Let's start going to people. I want to bring up Bill. Why don't we bring Bill into the room? How are you feeling?
Oh, it's all good. This is one of the best days of my life as a Mets fan. I've only been, I was born in 96, so I didn't get to see 86, but, I really love what Cohen's doing, and, this is the first step. This is something that had to be done, and this is the first step towards, they still have a lot to do, but whenever you have those guys, those generational players, you have to go out there and you have to get them no matter what. And this is what they did. This is the Dodgers plan. You have to get those guys when they're available, and you use your resources and you supplement elsewhere. So I love the signing. This is great.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you mentioned that about the Dodgers and, the money that they've spent, but they've also done a great job of developing players. And look, I think in a way, Juan Soto, people comment on the contract and, it's an I think it's an underpay because of the statement, because he's 26 years old, because he is always on base, a career on base percentage over 400, because the constant strain he is putting on the other team. I remember sitting there watching the World Series and you're just counting batters until he comes back up. Obviously wasn't sitting there rooting for the Yankees, but every time he's up, it's a problem. Every time seemingly he's up, he's getting on base. He is a special, special player. And obviously we know the career statistics right here at Citi Field. He has, I think his longest home run of his major league career, 466-foot shot, came right here at Citi Field in 2020. Also has a 463-foot shot here at Citi Field. We know this man is made for New York. We know this man wants the spotlight. He wants to be the guy. He gets to be that guy with Francisco Lindor. I mean, look, I think saying it's a slam dunk is a little bit redundant, but this franchise has changed forever.
Yeah, no, this was a moment that we had been waiting for our whole lives as Mets fans, waiting for that moment where the Mets were the ones to go out, do the big thing of the offseason, make that statement. We had seen other teams become the evil empire, as some would say, become that team that everybody's afraid of in the offseason. The playing field has become a lot more level across all of baseball in the last few years. That's not a thing anymore. There's no one more big bad wolf anymore. It's everybody's game. But this season, it was the Mets in the driver's seat. Bill, thank you so much for joining into the conversation.
Of course, guys. Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.
Let's go
Bill.
Mets.
All right, who we got next?
All right, why don't we go to Kyle Hershon? Kyle Hershon, I see Kyle there.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Cal?
Hey, oh my God! Listen, I was on the train when I heard about the signing, like 10:30 at night, and I was like trying to hold myself together. I was like, "This is real. This is real," and we've been waiting for this for a long time. I'm so thrilled for this signing, and I can't wait to see what he does on the field.
Yeah, no, I think that as I was saying before, we had those moments in Met history where some acquisitions were made in the offseason. And like you're always going to remember where you were, who the first person was that told you about it. And Sunday was crazy. The weekend was crazy because we all were told through reports that it was going to eventually happen over the weekend before the winter meetings, which were starting on Monday. And you wait all day Sunday and you're thinking it's going to happen during maybe football. And then the afternoon goes by and it's the early evening and there's still nothing and it's radio silence. And you're like, are they just going back and forth right now? Like, what is happening?
Like,
and
seriously, yes.
I feel like there's going to be a documentary made about this one day because this was, like I said, this was historic. This was truly historic.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
No, Kyle, speak.
We go from the OMG era to the Soto OMG moment. This is like, you can never replicate anything like this. I mean, I haven't been this excited since Cespedes in 2020. I mean, you cannot replicate the feelings that Met fans have felt these last 48 hours. And now, once we finally get to see the press conference tomorrow, I mean, that's going to be even better. You know, we finally get to see him wear the uniform, make it official. I just can't wait for it.
Well, Kyle, thank you so much for calling in. We're going to go to a friend of the show next. But before we go to you, Jordan, sit tight. I do want to bring up the jersey. 10 a.m. tomorrow at the team store to get your Juan Soto jersey. And I want to point something out right here on the pinstripe jersey. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw the post I put up. I saw a lot of people asking this question. Is this the old names sizes? Yes, it is. The font is back. This is the big font. It's coming back for 2025, so it is on the pinstripe and the black jerseys. Get your Juan Soto jersey, 10 a.m. tomorrow. Now let's bring up Jordan Simpson.
Also on top of that, and hello, Jordan, Saturday, John Franco is going to be at the team store. So you can come get your Juan Soto jersey right here at Citi Field, not just tomorrow, but all through the weekend. I think you could also take some holiday pictures of Mr. and Mrs. Met. So you get your Juan Soto holiday gifts for that Met fan in your life. You meet John Franco. You take a couple holiday pictures, and that's it. Now let's throw it over to Jordan. What's up, man? What's up, man?
Jordan, how quick? Are you getting a Soto jersey, and which one are you going to get?
See, I have to get one. I think the pinstripe is so clean.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong with the pinstripe.
No, you can't.
So,
and, you can get it with the number on the front, too, like I did.
I mean, guys, this is happening. This is real. Can you, I can't process this still. So just to give you a look into my side of things, I had a gig on Monday. I had a rehearsal on Sunday. My fear was that it was going to happen while I was away on a gig. I wasn't able to find out until after the fact. I'm sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden Martino was like, okay, it could go down, tonight. I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. And then it was announced. I yelled the same way I yelled during Pete Alonso's home run.
That's what I'm saying. It's that kind of a moment.
I yelled. I didn't expect it out of myself, to be completely honest. My dog was upset. He was scared with what happened to you. But I think just for me as a fan, I mean, listen, we're all on social media. We see the discourse back and forth, but I think this is a moment where it's real that the Mets are a destination. We've always been the part of the humiliation, but now we're a destination. Like, people want to be here. Stearns said it was a passing comment that he had, I think last night on Hot Stove or something on SNY, but he said, talking to free agents, seems like they actually want to be here. I mean, imagine all the things that we've been through as fans and have seen, and then this is a place where people actually want to be. Like, shoot, I want to be in the lineup with Juan Soto. Like, I would want to pitch with a lineup with Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor. Pete's got to come back, but this is a special time as a fan, and the offseason's not even close to being over. There's still moves to be made. This is step one, but to have the top free agent ever, I mean, Shohei Ohtani's Ohtani, that's fine, but like the top free agent of this class, one of the best we'll ever see, come to the Mets. What a time to be alive, guys.
And this is also so unique because, and I know many people have talked about this, because he's 26 years old. He's so young. He is just entering, theoretically, his prime. And you're going to have literally cores that are going to be built around him over the course of this 15-year contract. That's what's so crazy to think about. That's what I'm most excited about. And that's why he was such a unique free agent, that we don't see the kind of bidding wars that we saw with Juan Soto in this entire circumstance. That, I'll say it again, like, there's going to be books written about what happened. I know in the days since, there's been details that have come out, little morsels of information. But like, imagine to be a fly in the wall and all these conversations that, you know, none of us right now are privy to. Maybe one day we'll hear about them. Maybe we won't be. But this was such a crazy, highly contested free agency. And the New York Mets came away with the prize. And it's a prize that is joining a team that is already established, as 2024 showed us, and is continuing to build and get better. I mean, you know, you talk about the birthday boy today. Shout out Mark Vientos, turning 25 years old. So Vito and I did an episode back in October, and we talked about all the building blocks, why this team is gearing up to be a powerhouse.
Are the Mets about to be a powerhouse? And you know what is funny about that clip? That clip I still get push notifications of comments on that video. And you know what it was? It was people leading up that just for some reason kept commenting, the Mets aren't getting Soto. The Mets aren't getting Soto. There's not going to be a powerhouse. Well, look who's laughing now, because I'm sitting here with my Juan Soto jersey, having a great day, talking to Jordan Simpson. This is going to be a day Mets fans never forget. This is going to be a day in the Mets history books. You're going to see every year on Twitter, this date in Mets history, Juan Soto officially signed with the New York Mets.
I just saw yesterday was the anniversary of Kaz Matsui signing.
You texted me about it.
Yeah.
You did.
I'm a big Kaz Matsui guy. I still have my jersey. I wear it proudly. So,
well, Jordan, thank you so much for jumping in. You know, just in a few months, you'll be right back in here in this room talking Mets with us.
You definitely, guys, this is insane. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Let's go Mets, guys.
Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets. Why don't we go to Rich L next? I see Rich L's been sitting there for a little while. Rich, how you doing, man? You pumped up right now?
Yeah. I don't know what I'm feeling. I mean, since Saturday, I was at a friend's and I didn't have my phone on me. I walk out of their apartment, check my phone. My buddy Corey, one word, Soto. And like it's 10:30. It's a Sunday. People are sleeping. I'm in the hallway, so I run down the hall. Just got to get the energy out somehow. Get in my car, just like start pounding the ceiling like I did when Pete hit the homer in the NLDS. I think that was game 2. He hit a home run.
Yeah,
to start off the game.
Yep.
It was wild. No, it was game 2 of the wild card. I'm sorry. I'm misremembering. I'm real excited right now.
We all are.
Yeah. It's, I don't know if I can say anything that hasn't been said already. It's just such a phenomenal feeling that he chose here.
And I think also on top of that, you know, we heard a lot in the lead up. Are the Mets going to have to blow every other team out of the water to lure him away? And then we find out what the final details were. And, you know, it really wasn't that much different. I mean, there are escalators that can make this a more lucrative contract for Juan Soto, who he will, you know, he's worth every dollar. But it wasn't like the Mets were in a league of their own when it came to the contract. there were 4 or 5 suitors that went to at least $700 million for Juan Soto. So everyone was kind of on that even keel. And I think that,
successful organizations with track records, with good systems, but he picked the Mets because he thought they had the best future for somebody who's willing to spend 15 years here. You could say whatever you want to say about the money. You could say whatever you want to say about how big of a contract is, and that is obviously a major factor. But at the same time, you're talking about a guy who's 27 years old who is deciding, where do I want to spend the next 15 years of my life every day?
He was getting the money, right? Like, he was going to be generationally wealthy no matter what city he chose to spend.
Where did he want to go for 15 years
15
is the
years.
question.
And he chose here. And there's a lot of reasons why, and it starts with Alex and Steve Cohen. And then you go to the front office, and I think that Carlos Mendoza has a lot to do with it. And you just go down the list, the incredible Mets fans and the loyalty. I mean, Juan Soto was here for 2 days. I think it was June 25, 26 over the summer. Mets fans packed this place out. We spanked the Yankees. We sent them back to the Bronx. And then we invaded the Bronx in July, took those 2 games. Jake Diekman getting Aaron Judge looking. But
That's right.
It was just, I think all of these things played into his decision making. And we're going to hear from Juan on Thursday. And that's what's even more exciting, is that we're going to get to listen to him. And I remember when Carlos Beltran had his introductory press conference, Carlos Beltran uttered the phrase, the new Mets. And that was similar to this. It wasn't the same, but he was coming off the historic 04 postseason for Houston. And there were many teams that were in the mix for Carlos, including the Astros, including the Yankees, including the Cardinals, including the Mets. He was a huge name, a free agent, young center fielder, and he obviously signed with the Mets. But him making that statement, the new Mets, like, I made that my screen name, my AIM screen name.
Your
the new
name,
Mets.
your
man.
I did.
Wow.
I did. The new Mets 9191, and I was so excited after he said that, and I am so excited to hear Juan Soto speak as a New York Met for the first time on Thursday. Woo!
Rich, thank you so much. We're going to hit to our next
and real
listener.
quick, by the way, just wanted to say thank you again. Y'all sent me one of these Carlos Mendoza signed balls a few months back.
Dude.
Just wanted to say thanks again for that.
Thank you.
Really appreciate y'all.
That's because you listen to Meet at the Apple. We take care of our listeners. You called into the show. You're always supporting us. Listen to Meet at the Apple. You might get some perks. Rich, thank you so much.
We appreciate you, Rich. Let's go Mets, baby.
We're going to go to
Appreciate y'all
Danny Fay next. Bring in Danny. Danny, how you feeling?
Guys, I'm happy to be a season ticket holder.
Heck
Heck
yeah, 81 parties in 2025.
Exactly. I got my season tickets last year, and my dad's like, "You are the luckiest guy in the world."
You picked a good time, man.
Yeah, it's perfect. I just want to say, after last season, I think we've seen that chemistry play such a huge part in the team itself. And I know that Lindor and Soto, they're really good friends together. So I'm really curious to see how this team vibes in 2025 and what's going to be going on with the lineup and all that.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm sure there'll be some questions asked tomorrow what Carlos Mendoza's plan is for the lineup. I don't know if he's going to necessarily tell us. He doesn't really need to tell us until, I think, March 28th or 9th is opening day.
I think it's important to also remember, too, I would say I don't think you're ever going to match the vibes of 2024. And I don't mean that you're never going to surpass them or you're never going to do better. I'm saying 2024 was such a special year. You're never going to do the same exact feeling. You're never going to feel the same way. But like John said a few seconds ago, we're seeing a very new Mets team form here. We saw the fan base kind of change their mentality almost, because the positive reaction to the end of the NLCS was something I'd never seen in my life as a Mets fan, of people right away being like, we had a fun ride. This is incredible. And I think that transitions to the locker room, to the clubhouse, to every single guy who joins this organization, puts on this jersey. I'm very excited to see what these guys are like you said, Danny.
Well, I think that's the important thing too. It wasn't just fun for the players on the field. It was fun for us as fans too. Coming to the ballpark during the postseason, and everyone sing "My Girl" when Lindor comes up, or just like OMG or Grimace or whatever it is. And, I'm really, really excited to see what's going to happen moving forward. And I think someone said it before, people want to play in New York, that's like the mentality that, they were talking about it at the end of the year. This is the environment and the atmosphere that they're really building. And it's really exciting, And I think the funny thing is too, I just want to bring this up. Steve Cohen was talking about how he was going to outbid everyone by 50 million. And I love that little caveat after 5 years with the extra 5 million over the next 10 years, they want to spend. And I think this is something that we've been wanting to see as a fan base, where we're really going out and we're getting these free agents that are going to bring some value to the team.
Yeah, you mentioned all the fun that was had. And I think that in a way, in most cases, there's like a kind of a wall, an imaginary wall built between the stands and the field, right? And like the players are on the field and the fans are in the stands. And that was broken down last year. And we all became one in a way here at Citi Field between all the fun, OMG and Grimace and the connection with the fans. And like we've talked about so many times, even after the Mets were ousted in the National League Championship Series, there was not a single negative comment. It was insane. You don't see that in any sport with any team. End of season means I'm mad. You know, I want to blame and point fingers and assign blame and this stinks and get rid of him and get rid of him. That was not the case whatsoever. And then you go into the offseason and look, I think that a lot was put into the Juan Soto basket, right? Like,
well, look, David Stearns in the first press conference after the season ended,
he said the entire
player universe is open to us. And
right.
That kind of got Mets fans thinking, oh, wait, like, this isn't speculation this time. This isn't Mets fans like fantasy signing like whoever they can this year. This is the actual organization telling you, no, we're like 100% in on whoever we want to be in on from now on.
Right.
So,
and now you go out and you add the premier player in that player universe in Juan Soto. And I just feel like last year's love affair, and we've used that phrase here on the show many times, I feel like it's you know, the momentum could be lost, right? You have a full winter. You don't know. Things can change quickly in sports. We see it in other sports all the time. You have a great season one year, you come back and you just can't match that. That's not what's happening here. That was the first of many years. And that's why Howie Rose's words that he said, and we talked with Howie a couple weeks ago, it was so apropos for the moment. And now we're sitting here. It's December 11th. Tomorrow's going to be December 12th. And we're going to have a huge press conference here at Citi Field introducing Juan frickin' Soto. You thought I was going to say a different F word. Juan frickin' Soto as a member of the New York Mets. And that's a fact.
Danny, you're a season ticket holder, so I'm guessing you're going to buy a Juan Soto jersey.
We'll see.
You're going to hold off?
I'm going to hold off because I really want the City Connect. So if it's not available, I'm going to wait.
Oh, they have the City Connect. He's wearing it right now.
I don't know if I'm framed up well.
I might have to come down there on Saturday.
10 a.m. tomorrow. City Connect. All the stuff is available in the team store. We have the City Connect. We have the pinstripes. We have the black jerseys. Come and get your Juan Soto jersey. Danny, thank you so much for calling in. There's some other people. There's some other people in the stream right now, guys. Put your cameras on. Makes it easier to let us know that you're actually like sitting there, ready to be spoken to. You know, John, we're talking about the entire player universe. I know about the player universe, but if you had to sign one guy from the Costco universe to the Mets, who would it be?
Cousin Angelo.
Cousin Angelo, not the Rizzler?
No, I'm kidding. I mean, it's obviously the Rizzler. It's my guy.
Is Cousin Angelo number 2?
I think Cousin Angelo is a low-key sleeper on the market. Yeah,
he's a utility player. Like you could like pop him into a bunch of different places.
Yeah. Well, you know, unfortunately, AJ and Big Justice we're Juan Soto fans.
we had to talk about it for a second. I mean, we like talking Costco guys, but what we like talking more is this moment in Mets history. We could look back at some other ones a few years ago when Francisco Lindor got traded here. I remember getting that push notification, being like, I can't believe what world I'm in right now.
The passing bomb.
But I think the start of this era we're in right now, even though Lindor was sooner, the Scherzer signing was the first moment where we saw somebody choose to come here that I don't think anybody expected that to happen. And I don't think Mets fans were like not clamoring like they didn't want it, but I don't think they were thinking we were going to sign Max Scherzer that offseason.
Max was a huge one. I mean, that was also at a weird time. That was right before the lockout hit in 2022.
It was a momentum shift. It was a vibe change. That was like really the start of this new era of the Mets where, hey, we are going to go on these free agents.
And that was also right after the Mets signed Starling Marte, the Mets signed Eduardo Escobar, the Mets signed Mark Canha, and then they signed Max Scherzer. And like you said, there were a lot of teams in the mix for Max Scherzer, and we saw where the money wound up going for Max Scherzer. And I think for a lot of fans, after Lindor the previous offseason, then Scherzer, and then the following offseason, the Mets signed Verlander, and they signed Kodai Senga, and they extend Brandon Nimmo. You go down the list. There have been some special offseasons. Pedro was a big one, too. Pedro back in 05, that was also a narrative changer almost in a way, because no one thought he would leave Boston. And for him to come to the Mets, and then Beltran follows suit. And then after that offseason, the Mets go and they sign Billy Wagner. They trade for Carlos Delgado. They trade for Paulo Duca. And then what do you know? They really, in my opinion, formed the best team in Major League Baseball that year. Probably should have had a few more playoff appearances. Unfortunately, wasn't the way it worked out. But that was another culture shift. Those two off seasons back to back. And, this obviously goes without saying, an absolute culture shift, bringing in a guy like Juan Soto, adding him to the core already in place. I was at the train on Monday morning and some lady came up to me and said, "You must be happy today." And it was all over the place. It was no matter where you went. I went to Madison Square Garden that night, unfortunately. And it was just, there were Met fans all over that didn't know each other, just hugging and high-fiving and let's go Mets chants. It was one of those special days you'll never forget.
So I was driving today back to Citi Field. I had something in the city, and I'm driving through Astoria, driving down 21st Street, and it was around the time like school had just let out. And I saw a kid, must have been like 13, 14 years old, literally standing with a baseball bat in the middle of the street with his friends doing the Soto shuffle, standing there doing it. They were all laughing, having a good time. Drive down the street, seeing Mets hats everywhere. I drove into the city the other day. I give the valet my car keys. He says, "Nice Mets hat. Let's go Mets." At the gym.
Where were you when you valeted? I'm just wondering.
What do you mean?
You gave the valet your car. Where were you going?
I had to go do something in the city that
maybe it was a hotel. Maybe
No.
it was, I don't know. I'm just wondering.
No. Okay. Anyway, so
Valet guy.
people, but just people at the gym,
Not
everybody,
a parking lot.
people talking about it, like just how excited it was.
Yeah, it's imagine being like a 10-year-old Met fan.
Yeah. No, I can't. I said this on my Twitter the other day. I can't imagine what it would be like to be in high school. Like, I went to high school for 4 years. Johan was the biggest thing that I can remember happening while I was there. And I can't imagine what it would be like to walk into that school this day, because I remember walking in the day of the Yankee parade and being like one of like 10 kids in my class.
Bad times.
No, that was awful. But
Good
this
times.
is great.
Good
this
times.
is sick.
What else we got? We got some more callers?
Well, I would love to see some cameras on. Guys, turn your cameras on, because if you don't put your camera on, we don't know if you're actually sitting there. We don't want to bring you into the conversation, have that awkward moment where we're like, are you ready to talk or not? Why don't we go over to some comments, Hunter? Bring up the comments. Let's read some people, what they're saying in the chat. All right, Master Flip, WBC vibes coming to Citi Field. Nick Steins, LGM, such a historic day. 100%.
We got Hunter scrolling a little bit. I mean, I like the WBC comment. I like that a lot. We were both here for the Lidom game that happened a few weeks ago, about a month ago now, at Citi Field. I remember when Francisco Lindor had his 3-homer game against the Yankees back in September of 2021. And there was an excitement in the crowd that it was a different environment. We saw a lot of Puerto Rico flags flying. I am so excited for just the vibe at the ballpark this year. And, you know, the Lidom games, I've been watching a little bit of winter baseball just because I can't get enough. I am just so excited to see the energy that this move brings to the ballpark in 2025 and beyond. It's gonna be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I got some texts from Yankee fan friends, and one of them was actually, I will say, after the first day, the initial shock, he was not in a good mood. He was not good vibes. After that, he got into a really good place, and he texted me and he said, "I'm happy for Mets fans." He said, "Juan Soto was my favorite baseball player to watch in 2024. He said it was such a treat to watch him in a Yankee uniform all year. Mets fans are going to have such a good time." And that's the thing. Like, when's the last time you can remember like a special player like this coming to our team, putting on a Mets jersey? And how perfect does it look? Every time we see one of those players jersey swap photos and you see Juan Soto in a Mets jersey, it just feels perfect.
Are you still trolling people, or have you? Is that window open?
What do you
closed?
mean? How was I trolling people?
No, I trolled a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to troll people a lot. I know a lot of people I know that are Yankee fans are going to get Juan Soto jerseys under their little Christmas tree this year.
What's an appropriate amount of money to spend on trolling shirts?
After a lifetime of hate, I don't care. Because, like, what? If they give it back, then I'll do something else with it. I might have 100 Juan Soto jerseys by the end of this holiday season. Monday
was a just wild day. Like, I wish I listened to more sports talk radio. Obviously, you and I love that space. We're doing this right now. It was just all the opinions and all the calls and all the fans who, you know, there's slants, and I feel like there's only one way to put it. If you're a fan of the other team and you lose this player, like there's no, it's like you just say like, yeah, this really stinks. This is bad.
Especially because a day or two before you were saying how much you love this player and how you needed to keep him and how he's the best player you've ever seen and that your team knows what they're going to do, what it takes. So for you to then turn around a day or two later and just throw that out the wall window, that's a bunch of nonsense. That's a bunch of malarkey.
Yeah.
Oh, Hunter's pulling up some more things. Hunter says Sidney Sweeney commented on this.
I believe it. Meet the Apple is big time now.
Nadia on X. Every Yankee fan I know got a sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Nadia X, I give you credit for that.
Yeah.
Guys, look, we're going to be on here for a few more minutes. If you're listening to this on the Mets Twitter right now, join the StreamYard link below. Hop in the conversation. Tell us how excited you are. Let us know how you're feeling. Where were you? I would love to hear more people say where they were when they got the news, when they saw it. I was actually texting Hunter, our producer, the Kidcaster over there, about something else. And I think actually 30 seconds before the tweet started going out, I said to Hunter, do you think we really get him? And Hunter says, I hope. And then literally 30 seconds later, I get a text that says, OMG. I run to Twitter. The first one I see is Andy Martino. I run, start screaming. My wife is like, oh my God, is this over? Do I have to stop watching you scroll on Twitter every few seconds?
See, I was planning on going to sleep at like 8:30 on Sunday night.
Until you saw the tweet that said, yeah.
And waking up at 5 and getting a good start to my day. Early bird gets the worm. And then the tweets came out. We saw Mike Puma and then Andy Martino both insinuate that the situation was going to be resolved at some point. And then it's, okay, well, sleep is dead because now I'm going to be sitting here doom scrolling, refreshing nonstop until we have our answer. And then there were going to be two ways. I was going to either be elated or I was going to hear it from a lot of people. And I knew that. And while I might have turned my phone off or something like that because I didn't want to hear from people, I would have still been obviously very upset like the rest of us. And, you know, I saw the text in a group chat and I went to Twitter to make sure that it was real because there's all sorts of tricks out there. And oh boy, it was real. And I was up till probably 2 a.m. And that was basically it. It was that kind of excitement. It was that sort of exhilaration. Just like the night, I know we talked about this before, that Pete Alonso hit that home run against the Brewers. Couldn't sleep that night. Could not sleep on Sunday. Didn't matter though. As fresh as a daisy on Monday. We were all feeling a little bit lighter walking around these parts because Juan Soto is a New York Met.
I have been thinking, and I've brought this question up to a few people here at the office. Outside of the 2 World Series championships, which there's nothing you can relate to winning a World Series, correct?
Sure.
I feel like this is one of the 5 biggest moments in the history of the team is this moment because it's part of a culture shift in New York sports, in sports in general. Like this is good for baseball fans. This is good for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, culture shift is the way of putting it. We had never seen, especially in this city, the 2 teams that reside here go toe-to-toe over a player.
Wait, real quick.
Yes.
Depressed Mets fan is their handle, and they just said, I'm not a depressed Mets fan anymore.
I love
I
that.
can change my name. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I had to give that person
I
credit.
love that. Cloud9 Mets fan. I love that.
Change it to Cloud9 Mets fan right now and comment back.
Self-aware Met fan. I love the self-awareness there. But given the circumstances, and I think that both teams were all in on this player. Both teams had a lot to lose if they didn't come away with the player.
Yeah.
You know, like because you're all in and it's kind of clear that you're all in. And if you're the loser, and there was only one winner, obviously, then you kind of have to explain to your fan base why you came up short. And look, the Yankees went way further than a lot of people thought that they would. And you got to give them credit for that. I think that it took as long as it did because this kept escalating. And it was just, I don't know if you've ever seen the SpongeBob episode where, hey, Squidward, where he's trying to get some seltzer from Squidward, the 2 of them, SpongeBob and Patrick. And they're just sticking out their glasses. Hey, Squidward, hey, Squidward, hey, Squidward, hey, Squidward. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I feel like you've mentioned this episode on the stream.
I have not
before.
mentioned that one before. But that's what it was like, just back and forth. That's what I feel like was going on. And we obviously didn't know about this, but in the end, and you heard a lot of baseball people make this reference, it was just waiting for the white smoke to come out for us to know who the winner was. And if anyone thinks that, that price is crazy. No. All the teams that were interested were going to that area when it came to the dollars because this player is worth every last dollar and then some. Because we are on this stream right now talking elated about Juan Soto because we are wearing Juan Soto shirts on our back because he's going to be here at Citi Field in a Met jersey for the first time ever. And you great fans are going to be here at 10 a.m. at the team store getting your Juan Soto jerseys, and that is what it's all about.
I want this to be like a Modell's in
Gotta go to
2012,
Moe's.
2008. I want to see fans lined up outside,
go to Moe's.
getting ready. And you know, John, you could sing
Gotta
that because
go
that's not
to
copyright
Moe's.
because they don't exist anymore. So
I
I
was
think
about to say, Vito can't yell at me because R.I.P. Moe's.
but I want to see people here lined up. I want to see people excited. Like, I want to go out there and talk to people getting ready to buy their Juan Soto jerseys and just buy Mets stuff in general. Like, this is a place where Mets fans are going to be gathering tomorrow. And, dude, it is a special...
And on April 4th.
It is a special time to end on April 4th. I mean, dude, April 4th, the first time we hear that walk-up music.
How about the first... How about
the
he's introduced?
the rosters, the opening day rosters is going to be insane. I can't imagine what that's going to look like. Man, his first spring training game. When he arrives at Port St. Lucie, it's going to be a memorable moment. We're going to be just looking at things that happened for the next few months and just thinking, wow, this is the new Mets. Let's read some more of these comments. Milo Krimstein saw Soto hit 3 home runs in a game against the White Sox this past summer. Best hitting performance I've ever seen.
I think that if you know, we all are familiar with Juan Soto's game, but now that we're going to get to watch him every day, take 4 plate appearances a day, his eye, his lack of chase, and him just controlling the strike zone and pretty much telling opposing pitchers that I'm going to beat you. Like in his very, very historic plate appearance in Cleveland, Game 5 in extra innings, when he hit the 3-run home run that propelled the Yankees to the World Series. You go back and you watch that at bat, where he took the first pitch, I think he fouled off the second pitch, and he nodded his head to the dugout. And then he looked out to the mound, and he nodded his head again, and he said, I'm on you. And there was no beating Juan Soto in that moment. He is such an entertaining at-bat. He is a showman. And there is no one with a better knowledge of the strike zone in the game than Juan Soto, with the power. And lefty, righty, it doesn't matter. You can't get the guy out. He is that special of a hitter. That is why people refer to him as the modern day Ted Williams. And that's not, you don't say that lightly.
And I want to say, we've heard a bunch of people compare him to Ted Williams. One person today, you could go listen. Jay Horowitz did an interview with Keith Hernandez. And in that interview, Keith Hernandez also compared him to Ted Williams, talked about how Juan Soto is just made for New York City. Compared it also to the Gary Carter acquisition. He said it feels the same to him, that when they got Gary Carter, that was what set them up to win in '86. And that was what really made their team. It was like the piece that they really needed. And I do see a question here. Somebody said, is tomorrow going to be the only day to get the jersey? No, it's not going to be the only day to get the jersey. The team store will be open all weekend, but the jersey, they're only going to have as many as they make. So you got to get here as early as you can, because you do want to be one of the people to get the jersey, because you know this is going to be one of the hottest items of the holiday season. I mean, look, it's December 11th right now. Christmas is on the 25th, and so is Hanukkah. You got to get ready. You got to get your gifts ready. You got to get your loved ones in, because if you don't get them that Juan Soto jersey, they might not love you anymore.
It works out nicely that you can all gift that Juan Soto jersey for that Met fan, or for maybe the not Met fan in your life that you want to have a little bit of fun with. But yeah, and like you said...
Oh, there's upset Yankee fans in the chat, and I love it. I love it.
Are there?
Oh, my God, I love it. I love it. It actually makes me happy.
You know what I'm happy about? I'm happy that we get to promote 10 a.m. tomorrow, because there was nothing better back in the day than a big acquisition, and then you go to Modell's the next morning, you go bright and early, and you get it. So in 07, 08...
Do you think the guy that drove here the other night is going to come get a jersey? The guy that was in the parking lot screaming? Do you think...
Oh, maybe.
Do you think he might come get a jersey? Because he needs a new team to root for. He was over here talking about how the roads are closed. The roads are closed because they're building like a giant complex across the street. They're building a soccer stadium. That's why the road is closed. But yeah, that guy, maybe he should come get a jersey. It might calm him down.
It's nice. It fits very nicely, and you have so many options. You got the pinstripe, you got this, you got the black jersey. I mean, the Mets have the best jerseys, and we talked about that when we did our little team store tour a few days ago.
Best jerseys in baseball.
Yeah, this is. I mean, to be wearing this. I remember when City Connect came out, when it launched back in April. I actually went to Yankee Stadium that night. I took my my family to a Yankee Rays game, and Juan Soto hit a bomb to right field. And I remember the place was going nuts, and my father-in-law was getting in my face. And he went back out to right field after, and he was getting a hero's welcome back out to right field from the fans. And I thought to myself, like, man, it would be really, really cool if this guy came to play for the Mets. But, man, it's going to be a tough battle for any team that wants to pry him out of here.
And we were the ones to do it. We were the jaws of life. Lucy on Facebook, what time and where? 10 a.m. tomorrow is when the team store opens. That's when you can line up. Come inside, get your jersey in all sizes. You get the number. You can get the number in the front. You can get the number in the back. And like I said before, guys, The big font is back. We are bringing back the beautiful font size, the big names on the back. I also saw somebody else say they got to get their son. He's got to get their son to get them their jersey tomorrow. Yeah, man, you got to do what you got to do. If your son has to be the one to come get it for you, you got to have your son come in and get it for you. This is going to be the Christmas gift of the year. I'm gonna put a number out there. I'm gonna say 99.9% of Christmas trees are going to have Juan Soto jerseys under them this year.
How about a little ornament? I'd take a little Juan Soto ornament.
I don't think we're gonna have that.
No,
but
maybe Jake can make one.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun.
That could be cool, right?
Yeah. J-Mac, man, that's on you, dude. You want to make some Juan Soto ornaments? Send them over here. I'll put it on my tree.
It's that time of year, baby.
Well, look, this has been really fun. We got to start wrapping this episode up. Look, this is the Juan Soto party. I wanted to have red Solo cups here with Juan Soto's face on them and call them Soto cups, but I ran out of time, and that's on me. We appreciate all you guys listening and joining us for this live stream. This has been such a sick, amazing week. Please listen to Meet at the Apple. Also, we are up for Baseball Podcast of the Year, Best Baseball Podcast of the Year through the Sports Podcast Awards. If you follow me on Twitter, if you follow John on Twitter, we'll be tweeting about it. Give us a vote. Would mean a lot to us. Leave us a rate and review. But thank you guys so much for listening. At Vito F. Khaleesi on Twitter, at JMB9191. Let's go Mets, baby. Juan Soto.